Hi friends. Today we are going to recite a story about indigo. As the story is written by a Louis Fisher. The Rajkumar Shukla requested Gandhiji to visit Champaran, a poor peasant from Champaran, and he requested the Gandhi to visit Champaran, urged to solve the problem of poor peasants. Rajkumar Shukla, the poor peasants, recounted the miseries of Champaran. The Champaran peasants were sharecroppers, came there to complain about the injustice of the landlord's system in Bihar, wanted Gandhiji to help them. As the Shukla was resold, followed Gandhiji, whenever he went, and Gandhiji visited Kanpur and a few other places. Both of them visit to Rajendra Prasad was a lawyer at Patna, later become the president of Congress party in India. They could not meet him as he was out of town. Rajkumar Shukla and Gandhiji stayed at Rajendra Prasad home. The Gandhiji visited to Muzaffarpur to obtain the information about peasants, sent a telegram to Prof. J.B. Kripalani, and his student received Ganji at station. Lawyers briefed Gandhiji, reported the fee that they charged. Gandhiji chided them for charging heavy fee from peasants. Gandhiji decided to stop going to courts. Peasants were fear-stricken, got no help from courts. Peasants should free themselves from fear. As the large estates owned by Englishmen compelled Indian peasants to plant 15% of their holdings with indigo, peasants surrendered the entire harvest as rent. Sharecroppers to pay compensation to landlords for being released from 15% arrangement. This arrangement irksome to peasants. Some peasants signed the agreement willingly, some engaged lawyers to oppose it. Gandhiji visited Secretary of British Landlords Association. Secretary refused information to Gandhiji as he was an outsider. Gandhiji answered that he was not an outsider. Gandhiji contracted British Official Commissioner of Treehat. Commissioner refused to cooperate, tried to bully him, advised him to leave Treehat. Gandhiji refused to leave, instead went to Motihari, the capital of Champaran. Several lawyers accompanied him, greeted at station by vast multitude, stayed in a house and continued investigation, went to a nearby village to see maltreated peasants. Gandhiji stopped from meeting the maltreated peasants, driven back home, served with official notice to quit Champaran. Gandhiji remained awake, telegraphed Rajendra Prasad to come from Bihar with influential friends, sent to ashram wired full report to the viceroy. Peasants came to know that Mahatma Gandhi in trouble. Peasants come in thousands around the courthouse, beginning of their liberation from the fear of the Britishers, held demonstration. Government thought of postponing the trial. Gandhiji protested against the delay, read out a statement, told the court that he disobeyed not to break law but to render the humanitarian and national service. Disregarded the order to leave not as disrespect to law, but his conscience. Gandhiji asked to furnish the bail for 2 hours. Gandhiji refused. The judge released him without bail. The court reconvened after 2 hours. Judge withheld judgment for several days. Gandhiji allowed to remain the liberty. Prominent lawyers conferred with Gandhiji. Lawyers told Gandhiji that they would go back in case Gandhiji was arrested. Gandhiji asked, what about injustice to the sharecroppers? This question forced them to rethink. Then there would be a victory of civil disobedience. Lieutenant Governor dropped case against the Gandhiji. Civil disobedience triumphed. Gandhiji met associates and discussion, made detailed plans for civil disobedience in case of his arrest. Gandhiji had 4 protracted interviews with Lieutenant Governor, appointed an official commission of inquiry into indigo sharecroppers' problems. The evidence collected against the planters. Planters left with no choice. Planters agreed in principle to refund the money to peasants. Planters asked the Gandhiji to quote the amount. They expected Gandhiji to demand full amount. Gandhiji demanded 50%. Planters suggested 25%. Gandhiji approved the settlement at 25%. The landlords surrendered a part of their prestige. Victory of peasants instilled courage in them. British planters abandoned estates. Land reverted to the peasants for good. Indigo sharecropping disappeared. And at last the Champaran episode, not the result of defiance of authorities, but a result of an attempt to alleviate the sufferings of the peasants. Gandhiji proved that he could not be ordered about his own country. His politics comprised day-to-day problems of the common people. His loyalty was to living human beings, tried to mold free Indians who would liberate India. As the Gandhiji taught a lesson in self-reliance, a Charles Freer Andrews, a devoted follower of Gandhi, came to bid farewell to Gandhi. In this way the story ends, the indigo. Thank you and have a nice day.